Hi, so this is a nice, gentle post-gardening yoga practice. So if you have a block or two, then grab them. If you don't have yoga blocks, you may wish to grab a couple of cushions. You may not need them at all, but just have them there should you wish to use them. So whatever you've been up to today, it's probably involved folding, kneeling, crouching, rounding forwards at the shoulders. So we're going to take a couple of postures today which can loosen out the lower back and the shoulders and the hips. So we're going to start today over in all fours, and from there I'd like to take the knees nice and wide. Big toes can be drawn together. Draw the hips back to find a child's pose. If you have a couple of cushions and you would like to pop those cushions underneath you there so you can rest down onto the cushions, then by all means do so. You can make a little pillow with the forearms to rest the head down onto. And we'll take a few moments there in our child's pose. Allowing the hips to relax, allowing the hips to draw towards the heels. They don't have to be touching the heels, just allow the hips and the spine and the shoulders to relax here. Take as long as you like there, a minute or two is great. And when you are ready to move on, we're going to lift on up to all fours. So when we lift to all fours, we'll bring knees underneath the hips, wrists underneath the shoulders. And we'll take a few rounds of cat-cow. So keep the arms relatively straight. We're just going to allow the belly to relax as we take an in-breath. Let the shoulder blades slide together, open the chest, look forwards. We'll hold our cow pose here for a breath or two. And on your next exhale, we'll take our cat pose. So we're going to arch the spine, so draw in the belly, broaden the shoulder blades, let the chin drop. And again, we'll hold our cat pose for a breath or two. Then we can move from one pose to the other. So inhaling to open into our cow pose, exhaling into our cat. So inhaling, shoulder blades slide together, chest opens. Exhale, shoulder blades draw apart, chin relaxes. Carry on going, moving from cat to cow. A couple more times. And then we'll find our neutral spine, so that place in between your cat and your cow. Let's take the hands a little bit further forwards to take the pressure out of the wrists. And I'd like you to circle the hips in as big a circle as you can create. This time, let the elbows, let the shoulders really relax and move however they want to, so you can get a real slinky movement going on here, moving the hips and the rest of the body however they want to move, as big a circle as you can create. And then we'll circle in the other direction. And then we'll come all the way back to centre. From here, move the knees back a little bit, drop the forearms down to the floor, find your way to lie onto your belly. So when we come to lie onto the belly, take the feet nice and wide for me, particularly if your hips are quite tight, the lower back's quite tight, feet can be as wide as you like. We'll have elbows underneath the shoulders, palms grounded. Keep the top of the feet, keep the pelvis grounded down into the floor. Feel as though the shoulder blades are really sliding down the back. The The chest is open. We're grounding down through the forearms. If you feel this is a little tricky in the lower back, I'd like you to engage your glutes. So squeeze the glutes. That's going to draw the belly away from the floor a little bit. That'll release any compression in the lower spine. So we're just holding it there for a couple of breaths. Keep those shoulders relaxed down the back, chest open. You may wish to have a little movement through the neck here, but if you do take a little movement through the neck, make sure you stay in that same Sphinx position. Don't let the shoulders move. You can take whatever movement feels right for you here. And then we'll find our way back to our Sphinx. Now this is particularly tricky in the shoulders, so I want you to pay attention to your body. We're going to cross our arms. So first of all, take the elbows wider so we can lower it further down. We're going to cross our arms in opposite directions. So we've literally crossed our arms out. We're tying ourselves into a knot. So we're already getting a little stretch down the back of the shoulders. If you can wiggle your arms so that your crossed arms are right underneath you here, please do so. If that does not feel right for your shoulders, if that's too intense, either do something else or just take those hands a little bit further away. So you should be feeling a stretch at the back of right at the back of the shoulders here. Okay. And then we'll wiggle those elbows a bit further away so that we can undo those knots. Remember which elbow was at the front, because we're going to do it different in a moment. Before then though, we're going to take the arms out wide. So with the arms out wide, I'd like you to keep your left arm where it is. We're going to bring right hand closer in towards the right shoulder. We're going to keep that left palm grounded, push through the right hand, and we're rolling onto the left hand side. So we've got that left arm out behind us. So your feet can be stacked one on top of the other, or you might find that the top foot wants to go behind you to support yourself there. So really open through the front of that left shoulder. Good. Okay. When you're ready, roll onto the belly again. So we're going to cross the arms in front of us. Remember which way you cross the arms. We've done it a different way this side. So keep those arms reaching away from each other. Wiggle the arms in so that we've got these crossed arms. And hold it there in that knot pose for a couple of breaths. And then we're going to wiggle those arms in front. Unravel the arms. Take the arms out to the side. So we're keeping our right arm out to the side, palm grounded, left arm comes in. We're going to push ourselves onto the right hand side. So we've got our right hand behind us. Top foot can come behind just for a little bit of balance there. You can have the feet stacked. If you find this is difficult on the neck, prop a block or one of your cushions underneath the head here, and that's absolutely fine. We'll roll back onto the belly, and from there we'll pop hands under the shoulders. We'll push ourselves back to all fours, and from all fours we're going to tuck the toes under, push it back to a downward dog, spread the fingers wide, reach the hips up and back, keep the knees nice and soft, get as much extension from the fingertips right through to the hips. Have a little walk there, so you're bending one knee a little, straightening out the other a little. Getting a little movement through the legs. Okay, from our down dog, pop the knees down to the floor. We're going to step our right foot forward, so we come on into a lunge pose. Left knee can be as far back as you want it to be. The further back the knee is, the greater the stretch you'll be getting through the front of that left hip flexor. So if that's quite tight, have the knee a little bit closer in. Here's where you might want a block or two, so you can have hands onto blocks here just to elevate you a little bit. Or you can have hands on the floor, hands on cushions, whatever you want there. So I'm going to turn at a slight angle so you can see what I'm doing here. So I'm not using blocks so you can see what I'm doing a bit better. So please feel free to use blocks or cushions under the hands. I'd like you to draw the hips backwards and forwards here. So you're just bending and straightening this front leg a little bit. Feel free to pop one of those cushions underneath your back knee as well for a little support of that back knee there. And the next time that front knee bends, we're going to sway the hips side to side. Then we're going to circle the hips in one direction. And then we're going to circle the hips in the other direction. Now we're going to keep our left hand down onto the floor. Take the left hand a bit further out to the left side. We're bringing right hand to rest onto the right thigh. I'd like you to just allow the hips to melt down towards the floor. This right knee may melt out to the side here. So I just want you to just give your hips full permission to relax. Just let them relax. Let whatever happens with that front knee happen. If you're happy to, the chest can open up towards the ceiling. Lovely. Well done. And then we can come all the way back. We're going to step it back to all fours. And from there, we're going to step our left foot forwards. So we've found our lunge on the other side. Right knee can go a little bit further back for a bit more of a stretch. You can have hands onto blocks or cushions. And then we're going to draw the hips backwards and forwards a couple of times. The front toes can lift as well as you take that movement if you prefer. Don't try and take as great a movement as possible, just make it really sort of relaxed and loose here. Then we'll take the hips side to side. Let the shoulders move as well. And then we'll take circles with the hips. And then we'll take those circles in the other direction. Okay, then we'll keep our right hand on the floor. You can take that right hand a bit further out. Here we're going to bring left hand onto the left thigh. Allow the hips to melt towards the floor. You can open out the chest. Let this left knee knock out to the side as much as you like. Okay, and then we'll bring it all the way back. Come back to all fours. And from all fours, we're going to come to sit onto the bottom. We're going to bring the feet out in front of us. We'll have feet together. We're going to drop the knees out to the side so the soles of the feet come together. So you can have the heels quite close to the hips, or you can have them quite far away. The choice is yours. Do what feels right for you today. And you can grab those blocks or cushions and place them underneath the knees here if you want to, just so that the knees are supported. So we can stay nice and upright for a moment. And if you want to fold forwards, please do. You may feel that you want to get blocks or cushions so you can allow the head to rest down onto them if you like. Just do what feels right for you. So I'd like you to fold wherever feels right for you. Doesn't matter if you want to stay upright here, just do what feels right in your body right now. And again, you can stay there for a minute or so if you'd like to, if that feels nice. And then when you feel ready, you can lift all the way back up. So from there, let's draw the knees together. We're going to extend the legs out in front of us. And I'd like you to bend your right knee. Once you've bent the right knee, keep the sole of the foot down on the floor. Keep the left toes turned up towards the ceiling. So we're going to keep nice and upright here. Imagine you've got a plumb line from the crown of the head straight through to the pelvis. You can keep this right foot exactly where it is. Or you can take the foot to the outside of the left knee. We're going to hug the right knee with the left arm. Rotate round, so we're in a little twist. So the right hand comes behind you. Think about that plumb line. Then you can look over the back shoulder or thereabouts. Keep those left toes turned up. And we'll hold it there for a couple of breaths. So let's rotate to face forwards. Extend the right leg, bend the left knee, keep that foot where it is or take it to the outside of the right knee. Find that plumb line from crown of the head through to pelvis. Hug the left knee, right arm, we're rotating round, keep the right toes turned up for the ceiling. And we'll find that twist, looking over back shoulder or thereabouts. Let's unravel that twist. Then we'll extend the legs out in front of us. We're going to come to lie down onto the mat, and as we come to lie onto the mat, I'd like you to have bent knees, feet grounded, feet about hip distance wide, arms rested down to the sides. We're going to push the feet into the floor. We're going to lift the hips away from the floor. Keep pushing through the feet, keep lifting the hips. And then we're going to interlace the fingers underneath the body, shuffle the shoulders together in towards each other so we create a little bit more space there. Keep pushing through the feet, keep the glutes engaged, keep open at the hips. And we'll hold it there for a couple of breaths, feeling that opening through the front of the body, particularly through the front of the hips, through the quads. And when you're ready, you can release your fingers, lower the hips down to the floor, let those shoulders come apart from each other, hug the knees into the chest. And when we hug knees into the chest, you may wish to take a little gentle rock side to side. You may wish to have the knees wide, the knees narrow, do what feels right for you. And when you feel ready to do so, we're going to come all the way on up to seated. And when we come to seated, take a little moment there. And that, ladies and gents, is our Yoga for Gardeners practice done. Thank you very much.